right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're gonna go through here. We've started part one of two of our top 10 video games of all time. I'm sure Phil wants to hype this up a little bit. So, Phil, top five rundown. Give the hype.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived to the top five video games of all time. All other video games take a backseat to these five. So, we're going to break them down. We're going to bring them to you, folks. All five of them. Line them on up. Chicken, you're first, sir. What is your number five of all time video game?
I tell you what, picking a top 10 of video games is usually, you can start this off pretty quickly, pretty easily, and you feel pretty good about most of them. And then you start breaking down to that top five range, and it gets tougher and tougher. But I tell you what, this one, definitely UFC 3.
Okay.
Love it. Not only because is the gameplay just so dynamic, and not only is it dynamic and there's so many different things you can do, whether it be the striking, the ground game, tons of submission attempts. There's feints now. That's the thing, is they continue adding different features to this game as it evolves, and the fight game evolves. The new fighters come up, the rankings change, and the skill sets change. This game keeps adapting to where they didn't need to make UFC 4 or UFC 5 or UFC 6. And you know how all these games just keep adding on and making new ones every year. UFC 3 hasn't had to do that. They just keep updating this game and making it better and better and better, and evolving with the current fight game and the current evolution of the UFC and the current fight roster that they have. And then they still give you the fun with your old fighter. So they, instead of having old worn out Chuck Liddell with no chin, you get early 2000s Chuck Liddell who could knock about anybody out, and you can have a fight with your favorite folks. So I love it. Not only is it's still a little glitchy sometimes, and sometimes you kick some guy in the head and the foot goes right through their face. Whatever. That's a video game. That's what's going to happen. But there's still so many, not only good fight scenes, good fight replays, good announcers, and makes you feel like you're really there. But man, it's good for all ages, young, old, everybody. You can sit down. I sat with my wife and my son tonight and beat the hell out of both of them on there. So I tell you what, man, it's a fantastic game, and it's really competitive. Playing online, holy crap, there's some good people out there. It's really difficult if you want to get into that, or if you just want to mess around, beat the hell out of a kid. You can do it legally. It's great.
Bold pick. I love the UFC games. I personally have been with the UFC PlayStation and Xbox franchises since they started.
Yeah, you started with his early copy of UFC 1 on his Xbox at my house.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, I'll take the blame for that one.
I got obsessed with that game to the point where I was ranked, because I was recovering from a knee injury. I was going to the MMA gym quite a bit, and I just banged my knee up really bad, and so I played this game as a way to keep my brain in the strategy game. And at one point, I ranked number 29 in the PlayStation brackets. Xbox is always a bit more competitive, but hey, PlayStation, not bad. So, needless to say, really, as you said, followed the evolution of mixed martial arts games. And you're right, UFC 3 has been the pinnacle. The grappling system, it could be a bit better, but I am looking forward to the eventual UFC 4, where I hope they do overhaul it. But UFC 3 as a mixed martial arts game, it's interesting. I think that's the first sports game, unless you want to count Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Twisted Metal. There we go.
No. Yeah, no. The best thing about the UFC franchise up to this point, yeah, I'll be completely upfront. I only played like the very, very first two installments. The last one I personally owned was the one with Brock Lesnar on the cover. It was 2010, and then I played a little bit, as they kept progressing. But that was the last one I owned. And yeah, that first one that you had, and he like mastered in a night. Did not go to bed. Like you went downstairs in my basement, passed out. I went to bed. I got up. He's still playing the campaign, wearing out your controller. And we knew right then and there, this is
shine.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing.
I destroyed 5 PlayStation controllers with the shine technique. I had a perfect technique that no one online could tap me out. That was the one thing I had as my edge online in the first game. No one could tap me out because my shine was faster.
Yeah, I think like that first night you brought it over after a night at the bar, and we just kind of conglomerated back at my place, and we all played it, a bunch of us. And I remember immediately he's already kicking the shit out of us. Like the first time he picks up the controller, plays the game, he was already walking away from the screen doing his spin move. It was amazing. And then a few fights later, I somehow managed to throw a flying knee in round 2 and knocked him out with like Crow Cop or something. And it was so much fun to play. So yeah, like this iteration of the game, and as far as they've all come, I'm so glad that it hasn't, like you said, you're waiting for the upgrade. You don't think it even needs it. What's awesome about it is the fact that it's able to do that, because like with the NCAA football franchise or Madden, you get that new installment every year. Well, you did with NCAA up to a point. You need that new installment to add things, but this brings in your new fighters, your new evolution. That's awesome that it's able to sustain that level of playability and throughout the years. That's something you don't get, especially with a sports game. So that makes that even more impressive.
So, Chicken, any last points on UFC before we move on to
No, so it's not that I wouldn't look forward to a UFC 4. I definitely could see some updates. Like you said, Phil, sometimes the grappling and sometimes the ground game gets a little clunky on there. If you know what you're doing and somebody doesn't, man, you just take over. Or somebody can get lucky and get out of holds, and you're like, what? Like, you can do everything you're supposed to do, and they can still get out. But
that's the best part about it. It makes it realistic to the point where even a guy who's not great at it could get that lucky shot and knock or tap somebody out if everything just happens to fall, just like the actual UFC. That's what makes it awesome.
That's what I like about the striking game. The difference between a striking game and a ground game is, you got your puncher's chance with the striking game that you have in there versus the ground game, which is really technical, and you're setting moves up. And a lot of times Phil probably understands where I'm going with this is, whether you're going for a single leg or if you try to get a double leg, you're going for a totally different type of submission and layout of how you want to attack that position or establish dominance on that fighter. And depending on who you're playing, if I'm playing a skilled fighter, I'm probably going to jump right in. I'm trying to get the mount right away, or I'm going to try to take your back right away. I don't want to mess around with a silly little single leg because I only got you in a half guard. But with a half guard, you have so many options to defend and get out of that so quickly in that game. It's so hard to pass when you do that single leg half guard and take so much energy. That's my complaint with that grappling piece, and when you first start that part of it. So I see Phil's thoughts on there of where that gets clunky, but I really the main thing I like to tout about it is it's still relevant. A game's been out, I don't know how many years now it's been out.
Grappling just isn't quite as intuitive as the striking is. The striking is just very quick, intuitive, easy to wrap your mind around. That's why they even have a stand and bang option in that game, so they just cut all the grappling out because they understand that's their kind of their bread and butter there. I think it'd just be cooler if when they do the stand and bang, they put like boxing gloves on them.
Sure,
But that's
sure.
something for UFC for.
But I
Yeah.
mean that proves kind of the evolution of like your button mashing from like your Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat era fighting games, and actually, and that's one thing I was going to touch when you brought up Mortal Kombat trilogy. I've completely forgotten, just remembered, but like then you went from a 2D screen fighting one-on-one doing combos, strikes on a two-dimensional plane, and then they went to Mortal Kombat 4 and it introduced the three-dimensional concept, and it was a total whiff as far as the arcade went. I think the consoles did a little better.
It was only a whiff because they added the weapons and the big battle
Yes.
axes and the crap like that. If they
Yes.
would have left with the Mortal Kombat trilogy thought process of, you had your
Yes.
smoke that could teleport through the ground and pop back up behind you, if they could have made that in a 3D version and other aspects of it. But when they brought the battle axes in and they made it so, it was archaic. It wasn't
Yes.
as advanced as they were getting. The 3D version of Mortal Kombat 4, you're right, was cool. It was fun. It was cool to look at, but it was slow. And then
Yes.
carrying around that battle axe, trying to swing it at people, and the lack of combos that you had all these combos in Trilogy, and then it fell apart in 4. I think they lost a lot of steam.
Yeah, and you take all that and you look at it then when that came out, when we went from Trilogy to Mortal Kombat 4 in the arcade on the console, and that's when fighting genre transitioned into the third dimension. Like, it was time to do that. It was. And I take that back because I want to say, like, Virtua Fighter, I think was a little more, three-dimensional, but Mortal Kombat was like the staple. And to look at that game, Mortal Kombat 4, and then you look at a game like this, and you see how far the fighting genre has come, and the fact that it can translate just how intricate mixed martial arts in the UFC is, and to broadcast it that well on a game, that to me is just impressive in itself. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're right. I
Phil,
mean,
last
three-dimensional
thoughts on here before we go to Tony?
only that you're right. I mean, three-dimensional combat was kind of the next step, and here we are. And I'm just waiting to see what the future brings for this particular sports franchise. So, Tony, your number 5, sir.
I mean, this just coincides with the number pick, but yeah, I can't deny how damn good this game is.
GTA.
Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me preface this with, before I got my copy of GTA 5, the last one I played was San Andreas. And funny story about San Andreas.
Great game in and of itself.
Great game.
Still stands up.
You know what's funny about San Andreas? Phil and I lived together in 2004, right after high school. We both picked up a copy of San Andreas. So, because we weren't sharing, that wasn't going to happen. We both had to go buy a copy of this so we could both be playing in opposite rooms at the same time. Like that, we weren't sharing. I didn't play another one until this one came along. Like, he played GTA 4 a lot, I know. I did not get into it nearly to the level that you did. Something about it, I didn't get sucked in.
GTA 4 was really good graphics, still stuck inside the PlayStation 3 island box.
Okay.
So that was one of the problems I had with GTA 4 is that its map, like, you could see all the detail of the city, very wonderful, but you were still in essence, like a Vice City.
Okay.
How you're just stuck in this little island in the middle of nowhere.
And I'll be frank, I like the Vice City storyline just a little bit better than I like the San Andreas storyline. I know that's controversial to say, but going along with what you just said, I liked GTA 5 more because let me preface this with I did not own it on the PS4. I picked it up immediately on the PS3. before the detail became incredible, before the pixelation was even better, before all the extras that they added on the PS4 model. I never picked it up on PS4. I didn't need to. I had this on the PS3. And I freaking love this game. There's so, like, with any GTA game, there is so damn much to do. Like, I remember back in high school, GTA 3, the open world concept was a revelation. We would spend nights drinking on like a Friday night playing this game. This game took all that and everything they did right in GTA 4, and it made it even more incredible because the storyline for this, which gets a little even wacky for the standards that this game has.
Yeah.
It gets pretty wacky. But the damn characters in this game are so freaking likable. Trevor is an absolute godsend of a character on any franchise, and the fact that as a Walking Dead fan that we got Simon on the Walking Dead, just loved it. God, this game is so amazing. Like, the attention to detail is one thing.
Officer, it was self-defense, you hear?
The attention to detail in Grand Theft Auto 5 is just magnificent. The things you're able to do are mind-numbingly intricate to the point where people who only want to commit themselves to playing this game, not even online, but just playing this game well after the campaign ends, without diving into the multiplayer, you can play this game for years after trying to do the little side stuff, and it's still, you're not going to get to 100% because that's how in-depth this game is. And then they remastered it on the PS4, and it's even better, apparently. I didn't need it because this game is just one of those games that will, I feel like, stand the test of time, mostly because of the storyline, not just because of the gameplay, which is magnificent in itself. Go ahead.
I'll let you take it first, Chicken.
There's a few things you said in there is the reason it's not in my top 10.
Oh! Here we go! Here we go!
Finally, we're going to disagree on something.
Yes!
I don't
Bring it!
I don't disagree that it's a great game. It definitely is a great game. It's super fun. It's still really fun to play today. There's a lot to do. There's different things to do. The problem I have with it is nothing has changed in it.
Okay.
In 5 years, like maybe
I was thinking like 12.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. It came out in 2013, I believe.
That's 13, 14. That's probably right.
It's been 6 years, fellas.
Yeah.
Like,
I have something to say about that.
So real quick, I'll run it out. The online play sucks. It is terrible.
You're right. Yep, you're right.
In the age of online multiplayer, when it came out, it was good. It was good for what we had in 2013, 2014, 2015. Yep. Nowadays, online play is so much better. Nobody plays GTA Online anymore because it sucks so damn bad.
You're handcuffed. You're handcuffed to what you can do.
It is. So the fact they haven't made a new one, like I said, it's a great game. Definitely worthy of a top 10 mention, but it is not in my top 10 because it hasn't updated. They in the online sucks so bad. Excuse me.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you guys realize this, and it could be a reason to even make the case for it to be number one on somebody's list. It would be a perfectly valid argument. GTA 5, as it stands right now, is the most successful, financially grossing entertainment release in all human history. Let that sink in.
So
any
guess
entertainment release of any medium in all human history, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest grossing.
so that's because they figured out not only to suck in people to buy that game, get addicted to it early. How much of that grosses came over the last 2.5 years?
It's been continual, and yes, the online has been very lucrative for Rockstar Games.
In the first
And
5 years, I guarantee the first 5 years is where they made most of that. The last 2.5 years, it's been terrible. And there's an uproar online about how terrible their online and their new release packs have been okay recently, but nothing like they used to be. And the online play sucks so bad. The online GTA community is not happy with the current gameplay.
Well, wait a minute, but no, hang on. I literally just this week, I'm seeing commercials for Grand Theft Auto Online, like Diamond. I don't know. I don't do the online stuff, but I'm seeing commercials for that, and I assume that this patches in somewhat with this game. Does it not? Am I incorrect?
yes, it patches in with that game.
So yeah, today, if this came out in 2015, if that's correct, and we're in 2019, we're talking 4 years later, and they're putting out commercials right now for online stuff for this game. I agree with you. I didn't love the online play because, like, I kid you not, one of the online play portions that I played was 4 to 5 guys on a skyscraper on a little platform. It was who can kill who, who's the last man standing. Like, okay, that's kind of fun. Kind of like a last man standing on the monkey bars type situation. That's kind of okay. But no, I didn't love the online play. I didn't get in depth to it. So yeah, I didn't get engulfed in that. So I can't disagree with you there. I'm sure more people did, but the fact that they're doing commercials and putting out new content for the online stuff for a game that came out over 4 years ago, that says something. That takes everything you said for the UFC game and translates here. You said they didn't need a upgrade, and they're still doing side game upgrades here. They're not releasing a giant new game. So I don't know. I guess you could take it either way.
So in defense of the GTA 5, I had read another article. Michael Jackson only had one Thriller. He couldn't make another one. Roll with what you got. Make the money while you can.
Man.
Yep.
Dude.
Ouch.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
all that being
Yeah,
said,
because we could just dive into a whole side thing.
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
I'm
that
just
could
gonna-
get bad.
Yep. Let's move on
and
before I go
we'll,
off.
we'll hit on that a little later in its own way.
Are we on your number 5,
Yeah,
Phil?
Phil KOE's number 5. We're
All
stepping
right.
back in time a little bit.
Oh, we love
But
jumping in the
this
time
is a
machine.
game that makes the game we were just talking about possible.
You're
Legends
right.
of Zelda 64.
Chicken's giving his.
Yep.
Nod
Legends
of
of
approval.
Zelda 64 was... Mario 64 was a good open world title. Zelda, again, kind of widened the horizon of what a three-dimensional game could do. And it really pushed out the open world. And on top of that, the villains actually seemed menacing.
Okay.
That was... So you had an immersive story that combined with a brand new open world format. And yeah, you could go fishing, you could go just do something screwing off on the side, you could go chase butterflies. It was far ahead of its time. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3 hadn't been released when Legends of Zelda 64 was out. So you got to remember, this was about the widest open world that you
What
could
is
really
the
get at
time frame on that? Because I want to say GTA 3 was 2002.
Yeah, so we're talking Nintendo 64 quality
Probably
open world
2000
titles.
or
Yeah.
earlier.
So, just something to keep in mind. That's why I put Legends of Zelda as high as I did, because
But it's not as intricate. I mean, you're not talking vehicles and enemies or interchangeable players like GTA. But I get what you're saying about the open world concept.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it was mind blowing. And yes, I watched it with a one for you, Chris. He
at
was one
you.
of the main guys I played that game with.
Go ahead, give it yours, chicken.
Come on, chicken. Bok bok.
Back. So, real quick, just to clarify with you guys. So, 1998 Zelda
Really?
came out. In 2003, GTA 3 came out.
So
Wow.
5-year gap and a
Wow.
different console and technology.
Man, that
Zelda.
blows my mind.
Yep. So you can't really deny that Legends
No.
of Zelda was kind of the place setter when they were making the Grand Theft Auto 3 game. They're thinking, well, shit, we got to at least have something that's better than Legends of Zelda. And you
Man.
have to know that was part of their thinking process. So that was
Yeah.
the evolution of the open world title, and that's why I think Legends of Zelda, one of the top beginners of open world titles, is my number 5.
Go ahead, chicken.
No, I don't disagree with the pick. I actually like that game. I was never a huge Zelda fan. All my brothers were, and a lot of people I knew were. It's not something I got into, but I did play this particular one, and I actually got into it. I didn't get into the story necessarily, but the gameplay was fun. And it was something you could, like, this was a game you could just tinker around with. And like you said, you just go out fishing and chase butterflies. That's not what I would do. But I loved the fishing part. I think this is the first time that, here we go. This is a Red Dead Redemption 2 throwback. Again. Another game where you just go wander around and do whatever the hell you wanted, whenever you wanted. And if you're like, yeah, sure, I'm going to go do a mission, I'll go back to the town and see what somebody wants me to go do for them. It's the basic layout of it, and it paved the way for some bigger things, just like Mario 64 did. Like you're right. It's an expanded version of it, but yeah, great game. Can't disagree. Worthy.
Let me preface my thoughts quickly with I have logged 0 hours with this game, but I have watched people play it. I know I watched you play it. My experience with Zelda came from yeah, NES, the original gold cartridge of Zelda. My cousin Mike would bring it over. He would play it. I'd watch him play it. I thought, man, the game looks cool because it's got a lot of different features and different graphics than most of the other NES platform games had. When I went to like a Gamers just to pick up some nostalgia games, I picked up a copy of Link. I put it in and I went, this is different. It didn't quite mesh the same with that one. So I didn't get into it real well. So I never really got into Zelda like anybody else did. But it's one of those titles that
Cool
just
kids were.
it just it's one of those titles that takes on a life of its own, and it's one of those titles that you cannot ignore. And for what the N64 did for gaming, and as someone who did not own one, I can appreciate what the N64 did. I can appreciate what Super Mario 64, what Legend of Zelda 64 did for gaming in general. And yeah, the fact that you can both talk about it now in 2019 as one of those games that made the open world concept so impressive and so instrumental to where we took gaming from that point in 1998. That's saying something tremendous, considering we're on the verge of total VR.
Yes, but that's one of those games, and I'll leave it on this. Just the Zelda series. It almost sounds like the guy who wrote the first one was just kind of phoning it in, and then like, yeah, elf guy with a sword goes save princess or something. I don't know. What? I made a 30-year successful franchise? Not on purpose. I'm sorry. What did I do? And yeah, it just snowballed out of there. So, and it just became legendary game after legendary game, and it just folks. And yeah, now it's my number 5. So,
Okay.
Chicken,
Okay.
we've knocked out the 5s. Now we're getting to the final 4s.
Oh,
Have you
dear.
Take it away, sir.
I don't know how much hate I'm going to get for this, but I love this
Bring it.
game. I don't care.
Bring it.
Rocket League, baby.
Oh, I don't know anything about this. You talked
Ah.
about this the other night, and I don't know anything about
So
this.
yeah, you can play this.
Why do you rate this so high? That is what I'm curious about more than anything.
This because this is one of those games that's not only competitive, for not only highly competitive. There's some crazy matchups you can get in this game. So you have the competitiveness of it. It's got cars, sports, and shit talking all together. And I think that's one thing that video games have lost their lure on. I think back of, I mentioned to you guys that I removed Black Ops and several of these first person shooter games that I used to play a ton of. I was a big Halo fan back in the day. Tony might be surprised that's not in my top 10.
I'm surprised it's not in your top 10.
Yeah, I was a big Halo fan. I was a big Black Ops guy. I even got in Battlefield quite a bit. But I love those games because of the online atmosphere and the trash talk and the communication piece. But that is gone today. There's none of that, and I think that's part of why I like a little bit of Rocket League, to where you do have a few people that will verbally talk some trash, but it gives an extra component to where if you are not somebody who's comfortable verbally talking trash, it has quick chat options to where you can do quick chat trash talking and have a little fun there. But it takes a lot of skill to get good at that game. There's so many different aspects of it. There's different aspects of how to, or not only how to score a goal. So you can do a soccer version, you can do a basketball version. There's so many variables of the game that makes it competitive. Not only that, there's power ups where you could blow stuff up and have spikes. It's really, really compelling on how different you can make this game. That's what makes it not only relevant, and it's been around. It's been around once again. This is one of those ones that keeps adapting to the changing times and keeps players drawing in. And man, I every time I play it, I fall in love with it again and again and again. And I see more and more players on there over and over. And everybody who leaves, I send them a text, says, "Hey, you want to play Rocket League?" They're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And they jump right back into it after not playing for 2-3 months. So it's not only an addictive game, it's competitive, it's fun, and there's plenty of trash talking, which we've lost in today's online gameplay.
So how many platforms does this game cover?
I'm not sure if it's on PlayStation. I know Xbox, you can do it on PC. I'm not sure, but they do cross-platform on whatever it's available on, and they've just added to where like a PC player can play against Xbox now and join the same servers.
That right there, that might alone justify you placing this game as high as you do, because that's something that we have been clamoring for years. Not just as far as, can you make me a console that I can plug an Xbox controller and a PlayStation controller into? Screw that, because we don't have to be in the same frickin' room right now. Proof by this and what we're doing right now. That right there is beyond impressive. The fact that you're able to give personal accounts about the replay factor and say, hey, I got some time to kill, want to have some fun, let's play this game. It doesn't just make it a personal favorite for you, because that says to me that other people feel the same way and have done the same thing. That you can say, hey, let's go play this is going to be fun, and it's still fun today. That justifies your reasoning to place it this high. Obviously, I've never played it. I can't place it anywhere near that high for me.
Same here. I've never played it. I'll be perfectly honest. I'll be perfectly honest, because that's what you get here at the Dog and Chicken Show. This is the first time I've ever even heard of this game. You mentioning it right now here in this podcast, first time I've ever heard of it.
I've heard of it, and the fact that it...
So that's going to be my level of comment on it.
The fact that it takes a lot of different aspects of gameplay and kind of melds it into one, right? Like, sports, car driving, strategy. That makes for a good, fun game, like especially in a multiplayer platform. So that's awesome. The fact that you can place it that high, not just on a personal level, but on replay alone, that impresses me, I guess, is what I'm
Yeah,
really
it's a bold pick, but I stand by it because there's a lot to it. It's a very underrated game, and the fact that a lot of people don't know it or haven't played it, that's the shame. That is the real shame
okay.
because it is a fantastic, fun a game with tons of stuff. And you know what? They're pay for play stuff. You want to buy cars on there? $1.99. You don't have to spend $9.99 or $30 or $50 for a silly little pack. You can go spend $2 and you get the newest pack and you get the cool car
That's
that you
cool.
want and stuff like
I
that.
do
So
like that.
yeah, they don't overcharge you. They don't BS you, and they always have cool contests. So yeah, it keeps relevant and keeps people entertained and up to speed. So that's my what was that? My number four. Is that correct? So
Yes.
Tony, what's your number four, brother?
Okay, so yeah, we have covered number five in depth. We're jumping into number four here. We're having a lot of fun here. Honestly, this is great. I'm loving this. The nostalgia factors in high gear, and I want to take everybody back, watching, listening right now, to a much simpler time on the PC. Folks, this game does not even come close to getting the credit it deserves.
Missed.
Missed. Dude.
Interesting.
Okay.
Chicken, I
But
can smell your disdain over the internet.
okay, but have you played it? Have you played it, Phil? You've played it.
Yeah.
Chicken, you have played this game.
I have.
Okay. Let me explain a little bit why I place this as high as I do. When this first came out, it was the mid 90s, I believe. I want to say like literally like 95. It came out on PC. I want to say, I can't remember what consoles, but it was a very early on. It was mostly successful on the PC. And anybody who has played this game in depth enough to understand why I am placing this pick as high as it is, we, you get it. You totally get it. And I have the picture of the Masterpiece Edition for a reason. But this game was such a revelation on so many different levels. You have no health bar. You can't die in this game. Nobody attacks you. You have no weapons. You can't die in this game. This is first person. It's all puzzle solving. What made this game so immensely impressive was the fact that the graphics coincided so incredibly well with the sound effects and the soundtrack. It was so enchanting. It was haunting. You could not walk away from this game without telling somebody else about it, going, I just played this game, and it's beautiful. It's scary, it's eerie, it's beautiful, it's awesome, and all you do is point and click to where your next direction is. This was the ultimate puzzle game of the 90s, and I can still sit down and play this game. Like, I can buzz through this game in 12 minutes when your first playthrough will take you months because the puzzles are so intricate on a intricate level that many people probably never finished it. It's a beautiful game. It sounds good. It looks good. There's no hell. It did so many things that were not being done at the time. This revolutionized puzzle games, and it inspired several sequels that were nowhere near as catchy as this one. But as two guys who clearly did not get sucked into this game as much as I did, let me hear your thoughts on it.
Um, Chicken, you want to take this one first?
Yeah. So I didn't get deep into it. Like the story seemed like it could get interesting, but it didn't capture me early enough, and I kind of fell off. I tell you, the one thing that I do remember about this game to this day that stood out to me, and honestly, it annoyed me. it was noisy. There was so much background noise, and they were like trying so hard to like make this like environment with all the sound. That's all I can remember.
Yes, that's exactly what they were trying to do because that was part of the puzzle. You had to listen because that was part of the puzzle.
Yeah, but it was just loud. It sucked.
Well, if you didn't listen, you couldn't fucking complete the puzzle, dude.
What? What?
If you don't listen to like if you go into a certain area,
What?
you'd have to listen to what sound you were hearing.
What?
So you could shut up. You know what I'm saying. You're a dick. What? You're a dick.
What?
You're a dick. Before you even say anything, you're a dick. But that was part of the puzzle.
I'm not. I like puzzles like the next guy. I just don't like them that much.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't like them.
That's my take on it. Is like, in Bethesda games, I think they have too much puzzles. With this game, I was like, hey kids, do you like video games? Yeah. Well, how about we play video games, the book? That's how I like to be. It's like, all right, yeah, let's get ready for some more reading. Thank God. That was kind of my take on Myst. So,
Hey kids, you want to have fun? Let's think about it.
Now think about how much more fun it would be fighting enemies in this really great background. Look at this marvelous scenery.
Yeah.
Just think if you could fight enemies here, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's take the concept of this great game we've built, and well, just because these simpletons can't comprehend what a truly beautiful game can be, we've got to add a bunch of enemies that you've got to battle with an axe and have blood because. Well, I just didn't get sucked into it right away because there just wasn't enough fighting for me. So
Tony,
let's have some enemies.
I sense some defensiveness.
There is a lot of defensiveness because this is a beautiful game. It took no health bar.
Visually arresting. I'll give you that. Visually,
and the Masterpiece Edition, you can still sit down and play this game today. And now that you're both more mature to understand the intricacies of this game, I tell you to replay it because you would appreciate it much more. Obviously, I'm just so much more mature than you guys.
Obviously, that's it. That's it. So, all right, chicken. Tony, let's queue up my number 4. And for my number 4, I picked a game that's actually fun. And I decided to go with Cue It Up, T. It's yes, Mario Kart 64.
Well,
now,
screw you guys.
Better, why would you? Hey, who wants to drive around, race, and blow each other up with missiles when we've got puzzle solving to do, guys?
And you know what? You didn't play on the 3DO, and it shows.
I'm probably guilty of charge to that, T.
You didn't play on the 3DO, and it shows!
Mario.
You just talk about your fun Mario 64.
And it was fun. I had a heck of a time playing 64.
Whatever.
Gathered up with as many friends as we could get onto the screens.
Yeah.
Racing around in the... That's one of those probably...
That recognizable character in the fun concept of racing.
Yeah, this is the second time Mario has...
Whatever.
Appeared on my list. Tony, are you going to be okay there? Do you need to talk about it?
I already did. You guys are dicks.
We try. So, Mario Kart, I think...
Missed for life. Go ahead.
Okay, you got that out of your system there, T? All right, good.
Thanks.
Chicken, you're on mute. We can't hear you, Chicken.
We got to give him a minute here. Let him get this out. Let him get this out.
Get it all out, Tony. Get it all out.
I'm just saying, the same library I played Oregon Trail in is the same one I played Myst in. And you know what? When there was when there wasn't a line to play Myst, and you got to play it for a half hour straight. I'm just saying, that was a good Friday night, man.
You got a whole half a puzzle solved in that 30 minutes.
That's the point. The puzzles are so intricate. Just talk about your 64 Mario Kart.
All right, moving on to a fun game.
Hold on, I got a crossword for you. Should I share a crossword on the screen? Will that make you happy?
I mean, whatever it takes,
So,
whatever.
well, let's talk about this actually fun game.
Yeah, right,
because
fine.
We, I don't know how many hours of my childhood I wasted on Mario Kart 64. Chicken, I imagine you probably logged an hour or two, maybe even 3.
A day. Yeah.
That's fair. It was the ultra competitive thing of its day. When Mario Kart 64 came out, that was your measure as a man or a woman when you stepped up on there. I remember so many times our buddy Chris, his sister, when she would step up, all right, I'm gonna knock you out of, and it was how sibling rivalries were solved on Mario Kart 64. And
You're absolutely right, Phil.
what's that?
You're absolutely right. That's how they were solved, and that's how they got started at the same time. Who was your favorite character, Phil?
Bowser all the way.
What?
Bowser, smash folks out of the way. That was who I'd go with. Or Wario. Wario was another good one.
So you didn't like winning, is what you're saying. Okay.
Well, at the Wario Raceway, I knew the jump over the wall trick, so I was quite good at winning, actually. So, but yeah, I was always big with Bowser, use some missiles and slam folks out of my way. I was Mr. Bowser. You, sir?
I was always I would always pick Toadstool first because he was always the fastest. If somebody else picked him, I would sneak in Princess because she was the second fastest next to Luigi. That was my pecking order because I wanted the fastest. I didn't care what power-ups I got and how I got there. I just wanted the fastest.
You know what I picked? I picked a puzzle game called Myst.
And you failed. You failed at life because you didn't play Mario Kart. All right?
Well, you know what? I played the sequel called Riven, and you guys suck.
Jesus.
Anyway, Phil, yeah, I love your pick on Mario Kart. This actually was one that I teased and tickled into bringing into the top 10. So good choice, sir. This was a fun time waster.
It was another one of those multiplayer games that defined a generation of multiplayer games.
No, it's transcended systems too, because we're talking about a system that came out in the '90s, and you're still getting Mario Kart games on the Wii, the Wii U, the Switch. Yeah, because it's not just about a racing game, because you can get that with your test drives, your Gran Turismos, and I know those are dated games and whatever's popular now with the cool kids. Now that I'm in my 30s, but
It's okay, T.
yeah,
It's okay.
but no, yeah, Mario Kart. Not just that version of it, but like on the Wii, my wife is a fan. It's one of those that it doesn't matter your age. You can pick it up, you can play it, and you can have a shitload of fun playing it. On any console, on any iteration of it, it's going to be fun. So yeah, that it absolutely deserves to be on top 10 lists across the board.
Any last words on the cart, Chicken, before we move on to the top 3?
No, I think we covered it as long as Tony's okay. If we can move past Mist.
I mean, when you talk about like the Celentic Age and the book, and you go back and you get the blue page. No, I'm not even. No, because you guys don't even deserve
Sounds
this.
fascinating.
You don't even deserve this.
So fun.
So you know what? You just move along because you don't deserve my in-depth analysis of one of the greatest games of all time. You take your simple-mindedness. And yeah.
And fun.
Go.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? If video games were only meant to be chicken, just talk.
Wow.
What do you got for number 3, sir?
All right, number 3. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah! BFD!
Love Conker. It was the immersion past when you think of what we talked about with GoldenEye and some of these, first person shooters, but then it kind of translated it back into that third person mode with a 3D atmosphere and 3D environment with a little bit of fun trash talking with different characters in the game. It had so many elements to not only keep you entertained but give you more of that multiplayer environment to where you had a little insulting going on when you did it, and yeah, I don't know anybody who played Conquer that didn't walk away either laughing their ass off or saying, "Dude, I'm gonna buy that game."
The campaign was hilarious. The multiplayer was also really fun. I wasted hours of my life, me and buddy Chris, playing the multiplayers.
Boy,
Being the
he's
evil
really getting a
Teddy's-
lot of nods
Well,
tonight.
he is. I mean, that's, well,
I feel like we should at least add his Twitter handle if he's got one.
I think he would much prefer we didn't.
That's probably accurate.
But yeah, this was a incredibly fun game that had hours upon hours of replay. You would be able to see your opponent lining you up in their crosshairs, like, "Oh God, I'm gonna die!" Plop, and it was so violent, and it was so vile, and it was so. I love that one of the first lines of the campaign is Conquer standing up. I had way too much to drink last night. My head feels like a badger's ass, and then he vomits everywhere. That's what he starts.
As someone who didn't, again, own an N64 or get to play this game throughout, would it be fair to compare this a bit to like Duke Nukem meets Happy Tree Friends?
Not quite as violent,
Okay.
but yes,
Okay.
yes, that'd be a good comparison.
For all of you who know that comparison.
Be kind of more like Duke Nukem meets Crash Bandicoot. That'd be the best way
Okay,
I'd put
okay.
it. But beyond that, it was just great because it was all adult. It was these cute, adorable little cartoon characters talking about just the nastiest adult stuff. Like
Oh, I watched you play it. I remember
you
it
were-
fondly, and yeah, it was a great game, and yeah, the fact that kids got to play it and learn to say nasty ass slang and curse words is just even
And this,
beautiful.
I gotta add this: how I bought the game, because at the time I wasn't 18, and the kid working at the GameStop at the mall, or whatever it was called
You're
at
right.
the time.
Yep.
What's a
he
mall?
just-
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. That's a very old-fashioned sentence I just said.
Oh, it's one of those things that
People went to physically to
every
buy.
Sunday we'd get dressed up after
Oh, yeah.
that church thing, and we'd go and buy CDs at the mall.
Wow, that's an old-fashioned sentence. But so when I was trying to buy the game, he said, "Well, unfortunately, there's an 18-year-old age restriction." I'm like 16. He just looks at me and goes, "You're 18, right?" I go, "Yeah."
Sure.
All right, that'll be $54.95, sir. However much it was back then.
I think you're overselling it a bit because did games cost that much?
I think they've always basically cost about $50 since N64.
Wow.
So
That's probably true because I remember specifically going back to Chicken. You remember when Walmart was Walmart, not Supercenter, but Walmart New York, and you walked up to the counter and you had to open the portfolio with the barcodes on it, and you could browse the selection of games and by price. And I picked out the cheapest damn games, and I bought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters because it was like $7.
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I remember that. I worked there back when it was in that old
Before it
building.
moved. Yep.
So, bad fur day, bold pick, but also good pick. I cannot deny it as being, even in my own life, one of an all-time greats in terms of just how many hours and even when I went off to college, some of my college buddies, we were still playing the multiplayer Conker's Bad Fur Day after
Yep.
class, before we'd go to class, all the varying chill times for that. And yeah, it was
It's a game you can play today and still have fun.
Replayability. Yes,
Yes.
replayability makes
Yes.
the
So-
fact that we've listed all these games and replayability has been probably the biggest factor,
Yep.
considering all of
Except for GTA
Also,
5 Online.
considering like
Oh, I mean that. Yeah.
when we're getting wheeled down the hallway in the old folks' home, like these will be the games that'll be on everybody's
You
television.
damn right.
So, Tony, moving on to number 3, sir.
Okay.
So this is number 3. This is top 3. So this has got to be a real barn burner of a game we got here.
Phil, you're a dick.
So
You're such a dick.
so what do we got here, Tony? I mean, come on, we're at number
Is it
3.
Gattaca? Or
Okay, so yeah, Phil. Yeah, we're in the top 3, and Phil. Why am I not seeing it? Phil.
Did Phil try to ruin it for you?
Yeah. Anyways, Tony G, let's see this barn burner of a pick you got here.
Screw you, Phil.
What do we got here?
So my number 3. Yeah, this is obscure as shit. This is more personal for me, and yeah. Shut the hell up.
Is
know
this
what?
some gay cowboy thing?
Yes, it's Cowboy Kid.
My number 3 pick is Cowboy Kid on the NES. You know, no, screw you. Screw your Mario
Just
too.
some
I've
real
never heard of
barn-
Cowboy Kid. What the hell is this?
I mean, Phil, if you wanna talk about, sales and popularity,
Sure, this game might not have any of that.
yeah, you know what? Go ahead. And
But it's got character.
you take the Homer cop-out picks and pick those games that everybody else likes because, you know what, you want to fall in line. That's fine. Me,
Not has anything to do with
yeah,
being good
no, I'm
games.
talking real talk here. Number 3 all-time for me, Cowboy Kid on the NES. Folks, if you do not know what this game is, and you probably don't, oh my god, chicken just made me, it just made my nipple burn. Yes! Yes!
Yeah,
Ah!
I remember this game, and it was terrible.
No, you shut your whore mouth. You shut your whore mouth. The music for this game is incredible for the time. Shut up. You shut up.
What, the MIDI? The MIDI track was incredible for its time. The MIDI
It's
track.
NES, dude. It's NES. The music is amazing. Yes, it's amazing. The cartridge itself is on the rare list. The gameplay is side scroll, yes. Take everything you know about any Mega Man game you've played, and then put Cowboys and Indians, Red Dead Redemption type gameplay on top of that format, and that is Cowboy Kid, because you get your handpick of playing one of 6 stages. Just like Mega Man, you can pick which stage you want to play. There's a specific order you should do it in. You can get your pistol, you can get your rifle, or you can be a dumb shit and try to roll through all 6 with a knife. Trust me, I have logged more hours on this game than I would be comfortable admitting here. Folks, this is an absolute underrated, under-the-radar
Get this point.
gem of a game.
All right, so
Shut up, because you've played this with me. To completion!
here we go, folks.
The Cowboy
Here's-
Kid.
This is a freaking amazing...
This is a
Starring
top
Phil
3
KOE,
pick.
Tony G and the chicken.
Just remember, this is a top 3 pick. Just need to make sure everybody
3?
understands this.
3. This is Tony's number 3 greatest game
Yep.
Yep.
all time.
Oop,
It's
hold on a
that
sec. I gotta fix
good.
that. Forgot to add sound to that. Let's get that back
Amazing.
up on here, and here we go.
This
Just
is...
skip forward a couple 30
No,
seconds.
this takes like the Double Dragon engine. It takes the
Oh,
side-scrolling. It's amazing. Yes! Oh my god!
Kill the noise.
No! Keep it going. It's amazing. Yes. You collect coins. You kill bad guys that try to shoot you. And money bags. You get this key. You go in there. You become the sheriff. And then you can pick which stage you want to go to first. You pick the Mad Brothers.
Number three. Number three
Yes.
ever.
It's amazing. Guys, you know what? No, you're shitting on it now. Play it.
No,
will
I'm
later.
shitting on it forever.
Yep, I'll be shitting on it later too. Sorry. So, all right. Chicken.
You're giving me a hard time. And
Chicken.
this guy picked a frickin' Rocket League in the top 5.
Neither of you have ever played, so shut your mouth.
Him justify it, and you're gonna give me a hard time
I'm giving
about
you
a cartoon cowboy Indian game,
Dun,
and
dun,
you're
dun,
gonna
dun,
sit
dun.
there and you're gonna fie on you. Fie on you.
Okay.
The soundtrack, the replayability, the intricacy of the characters, the storyline, the pixels. It's amazing, and it's a rare game for a reason because
Because they didn't make enough because no one.
no,
was
they
buying
didn't
it.
make enough because it's that damn
They
good.
didn't make enough because it sucked.
Nothing, sir. You know nothing.
Somebody give Tony a puzzle.
Tony, I think there was a puzzle in that game somewhere. Okay,
I'm not even going to give you my 2 or 1 at this point.
Tony. give up
We
my-
hurt his feelings.
Both of you can just suck on whatever.
Oh,
Phil, what do you?
Oh, look at this. I'm not even doing it, and Phil thinks he's just going to jump in and I got this editing shit down. I'm going to do it myself.
Because Tony's
doesn't
a little
want to.
angry. Tony's a little angry.
It's not angry. It's just disgust.
So my number 3 pick is a
Homer
vastly.
pick! Oh, hey, guess what? I'm going to appeal to the online community and pick this game because I don't like talking about obscure titles.
Okay, now that that's out of the way.
Did he
An
just try to
actually
kiss you?
fun cowboy game. Ew.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
An actually fun cowboy game. Red Dead Redemption 2. Also,
It's got nothing on Cowboy
a
Kid.
crowning achievement in terms of game creation. Also, it's pushing the limits of the end of the life of the PlayStation 4. What can a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One actually push out in terms of gameplay? Red Dead Redemption pushed that to its very limits. It's also, in my opinion, the second best Rockstar Games game that they have ever made. So I put Red Dead Redemption. Now their online's had some problems, but I didn't even buy the game for its online. I bought it just for its offline campaign mode, and it was intricate. It was a journey with the characters. You had complicated relationships with every character. By the time the game was done, I was wanting more, which is what every audience needs. Hi, Tony. Are you upset that I'm talking up this cowboy game, yet I'm not giving you more kudos on your shitty cowboy game from several decades ago that wasn't even that good when it came out?
Hey, I'm sorry that you can't appreciate a good game. You have to fall in line with the online
You know why
community.
Cowboy Kid is so rare, Tony? Because they knew it sucked and they didn't make very many. You know why you can buy Red Dead Redemption 2 in just about every store on
Because they
God's
knew there was
green
a bunch of
earth?
cookie
Because
cutter
it's
motherfuckers like you.
Because it's fucking awesome, that's why. It's one of the best goddamn games of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2, huge fucking map, intricate.
Amazing.
Chicken, what do you have to say? Because we're going to be just...
Yeah, you guys are gonna take this too far. I can already see it. Hey, way to go, pirate. Anyway, so no, Phil, you touched on a couple things. This should be a top 5, top 10 game in everybody's list if their online play had it together, just like GTA 5. Same problem, both Rockstar games. They haven't figured out online. They got to get their shit together with the online play. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see these amazing games. GTA 5, amazing game. Red Dead Redemption 2, an amazing game. Huge maps, huge platforms, so many things you can do, so intricate, so detailed. As you said, relationships with different characters in the games. Until they figure out the online piece, that if you can't get that, you're not going to continue to grow and continue to pull people in. So that's why this one and GTA 5 are not in my top 10 because their online sucks.
Okay. So my thoughts on that would be, you've got a genre of it stands the test of time. Cowboys, Indians. That's one of those. Shut the hell up.
Please proceed.
Like, I might actually pee on him, and we're gonna get it on camera.
Is that what?
Like, oh my
Is
God,
that what
so
Kid Cody used to do?
Tie-in Cowboy Kid with Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like they're basically
Nope.
the same game.
Nope.
I mean, come on.
That's fine. I'm not gonna give my thoughts now. Nope, screw you.
All right.
I said you're getting a touch defensive.
Nope, just move
Check
on.
in, are my spider senses off on that?
Move on.
I think there's a
You
lot
were
of.
going to try and compare Cowboy Kid to Red Dead Redemption 2, weren't
Why don't you just move on?
Yeah.
I'm done. Move on.
Shut up, I don't even want to know.
Nope, don't. Move on. Number 2.
Oh dear God.
I will say as one last off, Red Dead Redemption 2, there's going to be some...
No, your game sucks!
is going to have some expansions in the future. This video is brought to you thanks in part to Jameson.
Yep, thanks. Irish whiskey, good stuff.
Yeah,
Apparently.
it brings out the not at all confrontation.
The more you drink, the better you feel. The
So-
more people you fight.
Exactly. But I'm going to stick with my Red Dead Redemption 2's number 3. We're down to the final 2. These will not be confrontational at all. Chicken!
Oh, they're not going to be confrontational. Where's the fun in that?
Oh, they're going to be confrontational.
I was being a touch sarcastic, sir.
Yeah, because I'm just waiting.
If Tony picks another shithole game like he did on pick number 3, yeah, it's going to get confrontational. So, Tony, I got
Shut the fuck up.
I got high hopes for you. You better pick something good in these last 2.
All right, Chicken, your number 2.
My number 2. State of Decay 2 from
Nope.
Xbox
Screw
Lab.
you. Nope. Screw you. You suck. Your pick sucks. You should feel bad. Never heard of it. It's terrible. Done. Walking away.
All right.
Alright. Now we can get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
So,
State of Decay 2, it reminds me a lot of what Rockstar Games does with many of their platforms, but it's a simpler basic level, but it's a zombie game. And it's actually very intricate. It's got a very good storyline. It's not. It started off as a really, really cheap game, and then they went on to make this sequel of it and got really detailed, not only in the storyline but up their game and graphics. And when you think of the Xbox Lab games and what they've been able to do, some of them are really, really clunky and really crappy games. This one is by far the best that I think they've been able to produce. And this is a game, right? There's not many games I can sit there and play for 8 hours and go, holy shit, I need to go to bed. Like I'll be sitting there at 5 a.m. still playing this game and not even realize it. And I don't do that with many games. This is one of those that just sucks me in every time I play it. So I don't play it often, but when I do, I make sure I don't have to work for 2 days.
that's always the sign of a good game, is it actually messes up your sleep patterns. That's a fine game.
Do you think Cowboy Kid messed up any sleep patterns for Tony?
What's that?
Do you think Cowboy Kid messed up any sleep patterns for Tony?
Oh, don't you even get in there and talk about my game. You know what? No. Nobody's even heard of your game, and you're going to sit there and you're going to shit on my game, and it's been out since 1991. And you know what? It's been played through more. It's had more speed runs than whatever game whatever, man. You just take your Oregon Trail shirt and you do your shit.
See,
and
ladies and gentlemen, you see what Jameson does to a podcast.
you know what? You're just jealous. I can put a
Beer
beer
can on top of a beer bottle.
You're not as drunk as you think I am.
Throwback. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Chicken, I've never played that game before, but on your recommendation, I'm going to have to give it a few minutes.
Oh, so yeah, his recommendation's fine.
I've played Cowboy Kid before.
Hey,
Yeah, I
I'm
played it
sorry
when I was
that
5.
My puzzle
I
solving.
played it in the 90s.
I'm sorry, my puzzle solving and enjoyment of games is too interesting.
Tony, wow us with your number 2.
So, we're at number 2. I already know that, Phil's is probably going to suck. So, my number 2, it's incredibly simple, and it doesn't even remotely come close to argument, because if you actually disagree with me, you're just flat out wrong. My number 2 pick, Metal Gear Solid 1. You've already said that whatever. You're wrong. We've established that. That's fine. Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, 2-disc set, is more than a game. It is a revolution as far as the gaming industry goes. It takes the sneaking aspect of video games and pushes it onto a 5th dimension. It takes a soundtrack and it engulfs you into a world that you never knew before. It takes characters that you couldn't know possibly existed, other in the realm of the writing of this game, and it takes a storyline far beyond its years and puts it all into a 2-disc set on the PlayStation 1. Mind you, the graphics were great at the time. This is a game that absolutely needs a remaster.
Oh, yes.
I
agree.
have played this game, I kid you not, all the way through at least 40 times. And it's just as enjoyable the first time as it is the 40th time, because of the intricate detail to storyline, to playability, to everything about this game is incredible. Take everything we said about Metal Gear Solid 3 and go back a console and go back 2 titles. This game could not be more perfect for the time. This is one of the hands down greatest games ever constructed from one of the greatest minds of gaming, Hideo Kojima. It took concepts on the console that were not even thought of. It read your memory card data. It took your controller. You'd plug it into another port just to get past a stage. You felt, like you said, for Metal Gear Solid 3, you felt with the characters that you were interacting with. You felt with those characters, plus you felt with the characters you were playing as. Metal Gear Solid. David Hayter's portrayal of Solid Snake. If it is not acknowledged that his audio recorded for this character and this game is one of the greatest accomplishments in gaming history. This game and the final cutscenes and the finale of this game are such an achievement. It cannot be put into words how good this game is. And the 4th installment of this game, which was just an uberfest of aura and euphoria for he and I.
It was a great step. Like, Metal Gear Solid 4 was an incredible experience.
Euphoria all the way. But this game, this set the bar. This is hands down the greatest PlayStation game of all time. Fight me.
PlayStation 1 game? Yes. Greatest PlayStation 1 game. I would agree.
Thank you.
The Psycho Mantis scene...
Thank you.
Still sticks out to me as the first time. Chill. Hakuna Matata. It's a wonderful phrase.
Cartoon or CGI, because
we're talking about the Psycho Mantis scene.
Okay.
When I first saw it, it was the first time that a scene in a video game actually legitimately scared me. Like, I was actually legitimately sitting there in the room watching this game,
Creeped out.
creeped out by the
Got it.
character Psycho Mantis. So that is one of those memories in gaming I'll always remember.
Phil didn't play this game through. Phil literally sat on the edge of my bed and watched me play through this game for 10 hours
A weekend, anyways.
a weekend. He had no interaction with the controller or the console. He sat there and watched me play this game through to
The
completion.
story was that compelling. So I will give it that. It certainly belongs on any top 10 list. Number 2, I can't complain. Chicken,
Thank you.
what's your take?
So loved the game. So I say it all the time. I'm not a big PlayStation guy, but I'll believe it or not, before
Then this says something.
it does. So before touting Xbox all the way, the first of the consoles I had was a PlayStation, and I remember, even after owning the original Xbox, Brian Kunert, my buddy, shout out, little Brian.
Cheers.
Cheers, Brian. I used to go over to his house, and he had this game, and we would take turns going back and forth, and it was me, him, and I believe our buddy Adam Rosenquist. All three of us sit down and take turns going back and forth between the three of us trying to beat this damn game. I know the scene you're talking about. It was a compelling game. Number one, definitely PlayStation. Like, I don't like PlayStation. And most titles they come out with, even their best ones, I'd put any Xbox game up against them. Metal Gear Solid, guess what? It's on Xbox now. So it's cross-platform. So I get to
That
brag
matters
about that a
now
little
in
bit.
retrospect. Yeah, because
Yeah, it's now a 2-console war, basically. It's
It is, but no. I love this pick. It's great. This is another one that Tony. Kudos to you. You found one that I hadn't thought of.
no, this game, my introduction to this game was, shit you not, was the. Do you remember way back in the day when we only had Pizza Hut and they had the demo CD if you'd order whatever pizza? Metal Gear Solid was one of the demos on that demo disc. I gave it to my uncle for Christmas because I was a kid and didn't know, here's a gift, here's a demo CD. And he got PlayStation for Christmas that year. And he was much older than me, but I gave it to him and he played the demo and goes, I'm gonna get that game. And he got it and he started playing through it and I started watching him play through it. I'm like, man, this is compelling as hell. And then he gave me the discs as he was done playing it. And I absolutely lost myself in the storyline of Metal Gear Solid. Hideo Kojima is a absolute mastermind. He's absolutely underappreciated as far as a game developer goes. And 1 through 4 are some of the absolute greatest games ever constructed. This is the pinnacle. This is what
No
started
disputes.
it. It's so good, and I hope and pray there's a remaster one day.
maybe. Now, let's wait for the big reveal on mine. My number 2 pick for the greatest game of all time.
What? Yeah.
It's that one.
Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is.
Let me get a word in edgewise here. My experience playing John Marston in the original Red Dead Redemption game is probably my most cherished memory in video games. Playing as a man trying to find redemption from his past, regain his lost family, and doing this all in an immersive open world title which, much like Red Dead Redemption 2, pushed the bounds of what the PlayStation 4 could do. The original Red Dead Redemption pushed the bounds of what the PlayStation 3 at the end of its life was capable of doing. And combining that along with a story that was more immersive than I care to admit. The scene where you're riding into Mexico and Jose Gonzalez's "Far Away" begins to play. One of
Yes.
my favorite
Yep.
memories of video
I'll
games.
give you that. Yeah,
Um,
fantastic. Yep.
I I've heard that they're working on making the original Red Dead Redemption game an expansion in Red Dead Redemption 2. And if that were to happen, my list might have to be revised because that's basically two games into one super game now. But we'll see what happens there. I'm holding with bated breath because it'd be so awesome to, start off as John Marston with all your cool stuff
Okay.
that you acquired over Red Dead Redemption 2. But
Okay.
I place Red Dead Redemption, the original, and in the
Above
incredible.
2.
Yes, above 2, and its incredible performance by the character playing John Marston, the voice actor, is a huge part of that.
Okay. Checking. Go ahead.
So we're on the number one picks, aren't we?
Well, what's your
Well,
take?
we're about to.
What's your
We're about
take
to.
on the original Red Dead, sir?
The original Red Dead?
That's my number 2. Number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 2 is the original Red Dead.
No,
You can't tell I'm a bit of a fan of that franchise.
I like the original, but it's not better than 2. It's
Ah!
not. All right, calm
As much as
yourself,
I
brother.
disagree, I'm going to disagree. I mean, you've got, like I said, the story which wraps up. The whole story gets wrapped up there. You have a lot more interesting strangers there, like the strange man that keeps appearing throughout the game. That very
So
cryptic.
if you want to go with storyline, sure, it's a good storyline, but gameplay and the actual ability to do different things in the game, it doesn't add up to me. I don't see it as beating Red Dead 2 in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, with gameplay ability, story's great. It is. The story's great on both of them. I'm not going to deny that. They both have really cool storylines, really great characters, but the gameplay. That's what it's about, and that's what gets me interested and makes me want to come back and play it. I remember buying Red Dead 1, and it was fun. I played the hell out of it for probably a good month or two, and then I put it on the shelf. I was done with it pretty quick. Red Dead Redemption 2, even though
It's perfect.
I'm not a huge fan of Red Dead Redemption 2 because of its online play, but you know what? I still will play it on occasion. And I've had that game since it came out, and I'm still playing it to this day. That
Okay.
tells you a lot between the two.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be completely upfront here. So I got married in 2014, and my video game franchise playability took a massive hit in terms of allowance of me picking up a controller, hitting that middle button,
Time investment.
powering the old system on, if you will. Yeah, haven't really been able to engulf myself much in the old Red Dead universe, but I did play a crap ton of Red Dead Revolver.
Wow.
And that, oh my god, that game was amazing. I cannot say enough good about Red Dead Revolver because the storyline it wasn't groundbreakingly good, but it was fun. It was spaghetti western all the way, and the playability was mind-numbingly frustrating in parts. And I remember watching you do it on Xbox, I think, and then watching another guy do it on PlayStation, and then I knew how to do it, and I got through the level, and I beat the game, and it was incredibly satisfying because it was so much fun to play through. And the fact that Rockstar Games has taken this many spots on all these lists is basically a testament to just how dedicated they are to making every detail of their game so well thought out and amazing. I can't tip my hat enough to Rockstar.
I was about to say Rockstar's taken at least 3 or 4 spots on our list
There you
tonight.
go.
I mean, I've kind of helped with that a bit,
Well.
but I'm going to stick with my pick. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the number 3 best game of all time. Red Dead Redemption, the place setter, the thing that's the cause of all this. Number 2 greatest game, and I will admit, it is my personal, like I say, my experience playing John Marston is probably one of my most cherished personal experiences in gaming.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why I have to put it that high. So, gentlemen,
So be it.
as we say at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, all that being said, we are on to the number 1 picks for the greatest game of all time. Chicken, take it away.
So this one was difficult, but
Dude, I'm sitting here with
Bated
breath because
you're not going to
I
see
have
this one
watched-
coming. Honestly, you're not.
Dude, I have watched you play so many games over the years. This honest to God scares me to death.
Well, this is a game that honestly I don't play a ton, but I know it's a very popular game. I believe it's either number 1 or 2 most sold game in the world right now. I don't know what time frame I'm looking at here, but it is one of the most popular games out there, and I play it from time to time. Just messing around with it. Usually I'll play it with my kid or just jump on to mess around, dick around, don't really care what's going on. It is incredible. I don't care who you are. Tony, here's your redemption shot at me if you don't agree. Instead of showing you a background or a picture, I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to share a video here to show you what is so compelling to me about this game.
Elder Scrolls
Has to make some,
Redemption.
has to make some big maps. Really good game.
Oh my God, Ash Run's called. Chris, I love it.
Oh my God,
Yep.
yes, you would have tried.
Oh my God, Chris.
But I bet the game that he likes is going to be bigger than them all. You don't think? Daggerfall is a big game. Oh, Jesus, I know what this is. You tricked us! You bastard! You tricked us!
No!
You tricked us!
Minecraft,
Ah.
the largest, most compelling, fun game I think as an adult I've ever played.
You tricked us.
How did this happen? How does this happen?
Have either of you played Minecraft?
Generate stuff on the game. That's
I
how.
I have played it. I've played it on my phone. I have played it, I believe, on the PC, and I have played it with the VR headset. I've never gotten engulfed. Phil?
I've played it for about 4 hours.
Holy, okay, go ahead.
I enjoyed it. I once I understood the mechanics, I could see how it was just so open world creative. Um, it was just something that as much as I love Fallout 4, I don't like the idea of having to personally build the game before you can play it. So that was the one
Okay.
thing that I always objected about it. There's other things that you can play that other people have built, but that was always my take on it.
What I love about it is now, granted, this isn't something I play all the time. This is something I play with my kid once in a while, and it's probably the most enjoyable game I play with my kid outside of whooping his ass on UFC. But this is something not only can we just jump into a game and mess around with, or he'll man the stuff these kids create is amazing. Not only my son, but other kids will jump into their games, and then you can just go into pre-made worlds. I'm not gonna lie, what Phil, when I was telling you earlier, playing the game for 4 or 5 hours and realizing, oh crap, it's 4 or 5 in the morning. I've done that with Minecraft. There's maybe 5 games in the world I've done that with, and they're all in my top 10. And Minecraft's
So,
one of them. Where
okay.
my son's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to bed," and it's like 10 o'clock, and then all of a sudden I look and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still digging.
So, okay. Okay. I got it's not so much questions. It's more commentary on it. I get it. I get the allure. It, when did Minecraft come out? Because it's been a while.
Yeah,
So
but
it's been a while. They've come out with several different versions and
Right.
upgrades and extension packs.
Yeah, I. It's not even about that because like the main concept of the game has remained the same. You dig, you build, you create, and it's a very
And you fight. You can
two-dimensional world.
you can fight.
But yeah, it's a very two-dimensional world put on a 3D platform. It's very simplistic in its execution, but the amount of people who have invested countless hours, days, months, weeks, years into the game is it's absolutely unparalleled. I cannot even come close to pretending to deny that this game it does deserve mention right there at the top because so many people it has resonated with on a personal level and its success has been I don't want to say unrivaled, but it's right up there. And my experience playing the game has not been anywhere near as intricate. But I have played it and I can absolutely understand why somebody would get submersed in this world.
it is complete creative control, and that's why it has lasted as long as it has. I mean, people are making swords, they're making houses, they're making buildings, they're making whatever. The only limit is your imagination, and so of course that kind of game is going to resonate with people. So I, it's one of those I hate to agree, but I will agree it does certainly deserve to be in anybody's top 10 list, except for the KOE nations, and we'll get there.
Understandable.
Tony.
Understandable. Um, so yeah, I man, it's a good pick. Dude, I look at my brothers, my sisters who are much younger than me, and I can absolutely understand why you put this game so high, and the fact that it has garnered as much of a following as it has. I can't even argue. I can't. But my number one, it's not even debatable in my mind,
Do, do,
guys.
do you want me to pull it up for you, T?
First and foremost, I do, but first I'm going to dump this on you because it's come on. Every both of you, it's true.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
This game, guys, does not matter if you're playing 1-player, 2-player, Game Shark, P-Wing. It does not matter. What Phil alluded to with his number 10 pick, I think, with Super Mario Brothers 1. The possibilities of the Nintendo Entertainment System and the bits that it was allowed were pushed to the absolute maximum limit with this game. There are so many intricacies. There are so many interactive levels. There's so much to do. And I can sit down in 2019 and play Super Mario Brothers 3. Not just on my NES, but on any console I've downloaded on a Wii, on an SNES. It does not matter. I can play this game from start to finish more times now, 5 years later, and enjoy it just as much as I did the first time. Now, 25 years later, this essentially, Super Mario Brothers 3, is basically the perfect game for the consoles that were available at the time. The multiplayer is amazing. The pixelation is ungodly. The stages they resonate with you on a personal level. The bad guys, the good guys, the power-ups, even the Game Shark cheats. Let's just be completely damn honest.
Phil's about to lose it.
It's like, no, I'm just like, Tony, I think you're doing a better job promoting this video game than
Nintendo did.
The creators of the game themselves could have possibly done.
All right, before Phil shits on everything.
Go ahead.
Phil shits on everything. So for a game that came out in for a game that came out in 1988, I remember as all these new games were coming out and every new console would come out, and I remember me and my brother sitting around, we'd get the new console when we could. And I remember this first one that had like echo sound, and we're like, oh, yes, they're in the cave, you can hear the echo, this is amazing. Like, we were just so excited for the sound quality. Like, that blew our freaking minds. Let alone could you have like a little tail that could help you fly and whatever other,
I can't even, man.
There was so much to this game that blew that generation's mind. So I agree. This is a Hall of Fame inductee. But Tony, you're giving Phil shit for easy picks. This is a Hall of Famer pick.
No.
This is the Hall of Famer pick, man. This is a gimme.
This is the safety picks of safety picks.
No, it's not. No, you know why this is not the safety pick? Because this is the... Shut up. You shut up.
I support your pick, Tony. I do. I agree that this should be in the conversation, but I'm just calling you out. I'm just calling you out on your own shit.
Fine. But this is not just in the conversation. This revolutionized the 2D scrolling game, and it gave so much more options to the side-scrolling genre. It made... This took Mario and exploded it, because what did it have in Super Mario Brothers 1? That was your, 10 pick? It took that and it injected it with royalties.
No, Tony made a good point earlier. Tony made a good point earlier with the multiplayer piece, because that was a significant change with Mario Brothers, when you could do that two-player mode, and especially the competitive two-player mode. That was probably the most compelling. is you could sit there and play two player and fighting against each other, and but at the same time trying to help each other. Like it was really,
Right.
it was so simplistic. It was
There you go.
Donkey Kong-ish, but man, it was competitive and strategic.
Yeah.
It was genius. It honestly was for
Yes.
the limited capabilities they had. It was a genius multiplayer.
There you go. And Super Mario Brothers 1, even coupled with Duck Hunt, was a revelation. Super Mario Brothers 2 was a carbon copy of a Japanese game with Mario characters. We all know this. Phil and I
still kind of liked Mario 2.
No. Phil and I have talked about this, and
I liked it.
It personally, it's both of our favorite games of all time because it's that much
It's just
fun.
fun.
It is. It's fun. I rented it ungodly amounts of times before I finally bought it. But Super Mario Brothers 3, the intricate amounts of power-ups, the levels, the hidden details, the storyline, the pixels, the characters. There's literally nothing about this game that either of you could actually shit on. There's nothing about this game. There's the loading time. There's nothing. Everything about this game.
It's a
It's
fine game.
perfect.
Mario doesn't put out crap. I'll give you that, T.
Everything about this game
So-
and it was the focal point of the movie Wizard, and I defy you to tell me.
I hate to admit I loved that movie.
You damn right it
I
was.
did.
All right.
You damn right it was.
So
And that's what drives this point home.
to
Mario Bros.
to help remind you folks what a little bit of Mario Brothers was like. Here's a
Yes.
little step back in
And you
time.
can pick this game up literally tomorrow. And you will know the secrets and the warp whistles, and you will know, and nostalgia will flow through you more than you could ever possibly imagine. That's what makes this game the greatest of all time. Because the intricacies that they put into this, for the time frame and the ability of the console that they put it on, it's unparalleled. It's incredible. The replayability is pretty much bar none for me. It's not even close because every playing experience is different. There's been remasters, there's been unmasters, there's been downloads, so on and so forth, and yet everybody wants to play this game. This game is essentially perfect for the console it was put on, and it is hands down one of the greatest games of all time. It's my number one.
All right.
Love it.
All that being said, folks, now, Tony, let me finish here before you start injecting your slur yells over it.
Well, here we go.
The number one game of all time, and it's not even close. Greatest game of all time, and as much as I hate to say, there is a very good and real possibility that this will go down as the greatest game of all time, period. Skyrim. And I'm throwing in Legendary Edition, but Skyrim, in terms of its interactability, it's all the things Tony said about Mario 3, for whatever reason, actually apply here to Skyrim. Incredible characters, incredible graphics, revolutionary gameplay, changed the way that we think of the open world title. The storyline is perfect. It is the ultimate power fantasy. It has been successfully released across more platforms than any other game in all gaming history. In my opinion, when you combine its gameplay, its storyline, all things combined, also you have a play area the size of the island nation of England, which isn't bad. I go so far as to say Skyrim is the perfect game.
So
Come at me, bro.
I'll take my first stab.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of the genre. Honestly, I kind of liked Oblivion. Um, there were some other similar titles that I cared for. But honestly, for what I remember from Skyrim, I honestly, Phil, I can't shit on it a ton. But what I remember, um, and maybe I got into it too early. Maybe I've always had good internet connection, so I know it's not on my end. It was glitchy. There was a lot of bugs, and the animation just sucked. Like they had good graphics, but the animation didn't match the graphics. If that makes sense, to where you could like take a look off, and you can be like, oh hey, look at all this background, but then all of a sudden you'd see what's coming at you, and it didn't match. Like the graphics didn't match. The objects coming at you, whether it was a person or an animal or objects on the ground compared to the background, it didn't match. That bothered me. But the glitches, um,
The Bethesda bugs, as they call them.
is that
Bethesda's the company that makes Skyrim and Fallout, and so they call them Bethesda bugs. And if you're really into games like Skyrim and Fallout, like I am, we just kind of think of them as a charming little addition to the game. And I get that a lot of people don't like that notion that there's broken aspects that are inside the game, but we just kind of like, oh, there's a Bethesda bug, and we just kind of for some reason, it doesn't break the immersion of folks that are really into these games. But I understand your point.
Are there portions of the game that just aren't perfect and you don't like, but we're just gonna go ahead and ignore those because you know what? Screw
Better than everything else.
everybody who says anything different.
It's better than anything else on the planet Earth right now. There's no better game.
No,
There is no better game that offers a player more options to play the game the way they want to play it. Minecraft is up there, I'll give you that, but we already have a set world that you don't have to build, that you can. And the reason it's as good is because Minecraft is just pure creativity. I'll give you that. Skyrim is the ultimate human power fantasy. There is no power fantasy that's ever been devised that's better. Because it allows you, the player, to assume the role of the only person that can save the kingdom. It's the perfect story for video games.
so?
You are the only person that can actually stop the great, horrible menace that's coming down on you, and that's why it works as a story. It works as a game. It just works.
Sure. My thing with a lot of these games, including Minecraft, the first time I ever played it, or any type of RPG, or there's I don't even want to start doing the acronyms for all these because there's so goddamn many nowadays. But when you look at the options menu or you look at the inventory menus, it's so intimidating sometimes with these games. They get so complicated, so intricate, to where I have to collect like 150 things to do 5 things. And Phil, I'm gonna tell you, my life's already complicated. I don't need my fantasy life to be complicated too.
Well, here's the thing. It's got the action. It's got all of the battles that you would want. And, Tony, it's got the best. In fact, it does puzzles better than Myst. It's dungeons.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Gotcha. It does puzzles and it's dungeons better than Myst, even. And there's things that you can fight. Ah, Tony. Well, it's fine. You just get more of this gorgeous mug on the television. But Tony's, he never really got into Skyrim that much, but to me, it combines puzzle making, or puzzle solving, battle and strategy. You can become a mage, and you can approach everything through magic. You can become an archer. You can take down dragons with your archery skills. It really, and on top of that, there's the modding. You can mod the games to go to crazy lengths. And that's what makes the game fresh and new. Even, gosh, I don't even know how many. It's been out for years now, and they're still releasing it on new platforms. People are still buying it. It's going to go down as a timeless game. And I love Bethesda games. As much as I hate to say, I don't even think The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be as good as Skyrim was. I don't think it's going to be able to, certainly not going to be able to match the hype. because the expectation is going to be, yes, play that theme. Play that mighty theme.
So this will be the, I believe this is the official gameplay trailer. So for those unfamiliar with Skyrim, here's a quick view.
Yes. Bethesda Game Studio.
They're already here. The Elder Scrolls told of their return. Their defeat was merely a delay. To the time after Oblivion opened. When the sons of Skyrim would spill their own blood. But no one wanted to believe they even existed. And when the truth finally dawns, it dawns in fire. But there's one they fear. In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
The theme is even so good. They made up their own made-up language, but it's that good. Even the intro song is badass. So there's nothing about that game that as much as I hate to say, I don't like about it. It's the perfect game. It's probably going to be what I go home and play when I get done with this podcast. Head home, put in an hour of Skyrim before I pass out. That's how good it is.
All right, agree to disagree.
And also, I will, an added note, my daughter and I, we love the game. She made her own character in Skyrim, and it was kind of a weird way for the two of us to bond together. I would go in Conan the Barbarian style with a big sword. She would always use magic, and that was kind of our... She's like, Dad, can I do this hour of Skyrim? All right, knock it out of the park. So that is also, full disclosure, another reason why I love Skyrim so much.
So it's a game you have to be into. You got to be into that kind of genre. You gotta like that type of feel for it. Like I said, I've never been into that type of feel for it, which is weird because there's similar games that I've gotten into, but like that, like Oblivion, I tried, I couldn't do it. World of Warcraft couldn't do it. There's so many that are in that line and in that field. I just can't fall into that, and I've never really got interested in. But hey, I agree. It's one of the most popular games out there. Whenever I get on Xbox and I look at friends online, they're shit.
So
25% of them are playing Skyrim. So what do I say?
Yes, of course. So I think what we've determined here today, gentlemen, above all else, is that we can now all finally fully agree that Skyrim is clearly the greatest game of all time, and to the extent that you disagree is the extent that you're wrong, right? Right? We can agree on that, right?
I mean, yeah, if you want to be completely, absolutely 100% delusional, yeah, that's great.
I'm going to go with Cowboy Kid at that point.
Thank you. You're right. Yes, Cowboy Kid. You know what? No.
Yeah, that's how much I'm going to piss on Skyrim right there.
There you go. You know what? No.
And
you guys, no.
And
Because
back
both
to the
of you,
Revolutionary Wrestling
I would
Podcast,
rather
Cowboy
play
Kid
Sky.
and you give Cowboy Kid third place? Come on, man.
No, because you know what? I guarantee, Chicken, you could come down right now, sit with me, drink, play Cowboy Kid, and you'd sit there and go, okay, this game's...
It's better than Skyrim.
There you go.
What was
There
that?
you go.
All I heard was nothing's better than Skyrim. That's all I heard. So, Chicken, we have made it, folks. We have made it all the way to number 1.
Jesus,
Now,
and I think me and Tony are a little on the shitty side. I don't know where Phil's at. I don't know if he's been drinking, but I know me and Tony, we're feeling pretty good. Cheers, brother.
it's been a good time. Now, Chicken, before we go, this is our moment. We here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast are extending our invite to you to come join us when we make our video reviewing the top 10 greatest pro wrestling video games of all time.
Oh dear, I am so in. I love my wrestling
Folks,
video games.
This has been the Dog and Chicken Show Extreme Edition with your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, and my indomitable broadcast partners, Tony G, and also Chicken. We are also extending your full invite to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Like, share, subscribe to both, folks. It's the best deal. You can keep up with the latest happenings of this gorgeous mug, Chicken, Tony. I mean, that might be the greatest deal in the history of all humanity.
It's free.
3 simple clicks, and you get to keep up with all that.
Yeah,
it's free.
It's free.
I mean, you're costing yourself precious entertainment moments every moment you don't click.
True.
So, folks, as we say back at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, all that being said, Chicken, your show, sir. Any last words before we send them off home?
No, Tony, what do you got to say before we round this out and say goodnight to everybody? Or do you just want to say goodnight? Or you want to shit on Phil?
I mean, like, it's understandable why he picks the way he does, but I mean, the fact that he can't appreciate, my top 5 picks, it's understandable because he's not nearly as, refined as I am, and it's okay.
Now, granted, yes, I'll give you that. I'm just coming in out of the fields from the tasseling season. Normally, I am the absolute epitome of sartorial resplendency. But this evening, I am just in my work clothes.
It's okay, my game's just superior. Chicken, take it away.
You guys are quite the bunch there. I really do enjoy these. I have a good time chatting with both of you guys.
Anytime, man.
You keep me
Anytime.
very, very entertained. I don't think you understand how much.
Well, then, if it's all right, Chicken, I'll sign us off.
Oh,
Folks, ladies and
one
gentlemen-
sec, Phil. I do have a little surprise. Hopefully,
Me
I'm
like you,
trying.
sir, right?
I might have to edit this out if I can't get it to pull up, but I'm gonna try it.
You gotta do.
It's not a.
Wow.
Oh my god! Why isn't this working?
We got the 10
Stall.
greatest wrestling video games of all time coming up. Chicken, you are going to be in on that.
Yeah, we this concept, we discussed 30 spots for top 10 games for each one of us, and yeah, it was very controversial, but amongst the 3 of us. But the top 10 wrestling games of all time is one we will be delving very, very intricately into on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, and
Check us out on YouTube and Twitter.
it's very much, not so much personal, but more worldly accepted, because there are some shit games that,
Oh my god. And can we just all, before we get into that, can we just all objectively agree that the worst game of all time is WCW Backstage Assault?
it's right in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
I think
right
I think
in
that's,
there.
I mean, that'll just save us that honorable mention. Just get that one in right now. Now, while you're looking for that, Dog and Chicken Show,
Yes.
folks.
Yes.
This has been an amazing episode of this. Like, share,
It's a double
subscribe.
parter, man. We
Double
covered
card.
a lot of ground. Like, this was a big one. It's a 3-man crew tonight. We talked about a lot of stuff, a lot of personal feelings as far as the video game community
Yeah, was
is
that your
gone.
honorable mention this evening?
Ah!
God, that was a good game.
Look at this guy.
I was trying to give you a preview of some of the games that I'm into. Of course, I don't have the. Maybe this is mirrored on your end. I don't know. It looks backwards on mine, but
No, it looks good.
We're good?
Yep, no, it looks good.
just had to
here.
give you a little preview of some of what I want to talk about next week. Some WCW NWO Revenge.
So, yeah, okay, yep.
We
I
got
get
it.
it. I get
we
it.
got it.
I
It
get
will
it.
be Chicken. We look forward to seeing you on the podcast, sir.
Absolutely. Look forward to the invite, folks. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. Phil, thanks for joining. Tony, Appreciate you as always, everybody. Cheers. Love you, folks. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week. Love you.
Signing off, folks.
Love you.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining us.